Screw your freedom.
You want answers?
I think I'm entitled.
You want answers?
I want the truth!
You can't handle the truth!
Well, everyone, welcome back to the Prepared Mind channel. They did the State of the Union, the SOTU address last night in Washington, D.C. in Congress. That's right, the president, the vice president, the Joint Chiefs of Staff, the justices of the Supreme Court of the United States, and all of Congress, and all of the senators, and all of the king's horses, and all the king's men couldn't put the shit show back together again. Oh, man. Oh, I guess I can't do Dr. Seuss anymore because he's been canceled. Unbelievable, folks. Biden did not disappoint, meaning he was a bumbling, mumbling, fumbling moron all night. All night. So yeah, he disappoints in the sense of intellectualism. He disappoints in the manner of Americanism, freedom, liberty. Right? He disappoints in that way. But what we expected, I was not disappointed. I mean, the man called Ukrainians Uranians. I mean, how can you get that? How can you not read a teleprompter? You know. Anyways, let's get into some of the details. And I don't want to belabor it. I don't want to spend too much time on it. We know where this is going, folks. SHTF, it's going to get worse. These people are in charge and they're not quitting. They're not going away. They're not giving it up. So really, let's get into some of the details so we can get an understanding how these people aren't going to quit and why you and I need to continue to be prepared. Now, there's a lot going on in the world. It's not just one thing. It's not just a little war. It's not just a medical problem. It's not just a problem on the southern border. It's not just an issue, right? With inflation, it's everything. And there's always something happening to keep us distracted, off balance, and guessing. But never forget, folks, with so much happening, never forget the details. Never forget about what happened in Afghanistan. Almost 20 years, our military has been in Afghanistan. Like it or not, agree with it or not. A lot of treasure has been spent and a lot of lives have been lost. Our nation invested in that nation, I suppose, with the expectation of accomplishing the goal of trying to introduce democracy into a world of theocracy, that is religious rule, right? But also expanding its natural resources so it can join the world markets, modernize. Somehow we would benefit from that. That's the treasure spent, but the lives lost, especially to those families who lost, right? That means so much. So Joe Biden tried talking about that in some kind of way that we're supposed to think is patriotic and just kind of gloss over the coffins. Well, thankfully, we have some members of Congress with some guts. And that would be Lauren Boebert, who at least twice stood up and called them on it. And when he talked about Americans that gave up their lives, she said 13 of them, right? Small, little pixie Lauren Boebert, Republican representative out of Colorado. 13 of them, right? Never forget, folks. Joe Biden failed tremendously. Not just with his bumbling, not with just his blathering, right? Years, money. We lost our allies. We lost support for the American way of doing things and the loss of our great men and women in the military. But especially during the pullout, the withdrawal from Afghanistan under Joe Biden. Not only did he just toss away everything else, right? He exposed our troops to threat, incredible threat. He exposed our allies to threats. He abandoned, folks, tens of thousands of Americans in Afghanistan and told them to figure out how to get out with no warning. And he just wants to do a couple of lines, a couple of emotional heartstring pulling lines during the State of the Union and expect us to forget it, that he's bigger than that. Remember, folks, he said he did not regret what he did when asked about his Afghanistan decision. No regrets, huh? The bombing that killed civilians and 13 of our Marines and soldiers. No regret, huh? He didn't even say, I regret that they lost their lives, right? He had no regret over his decisions. That is hubris. That is megalomania. That is a cold, black soul. Unbelievable, folks. I mean, the man went on to say, he went on to talk about topics. Now, again, he's got a teleprompter. And he's talking about building walls. And he says, you can't build a wall high enough to keep out a vaccine. It's like, what? Where did that come from? Are you that dense? The answer is yes, right? The answer is yes. It's incredible, folks. Now, the reaction to this State of the Union was the American people that were polled before the State of the Union have been, Joe Biden's down, down, down. Democrats don't like him. The voters don't like him, right? And Nancy Pelosi, had the guts to claim that Americans have a low opinion of Joe Biden because they just don't understand. They're too ignorant. See, the problem is you, America, for not understanding Joe and the globalists. They just want to help. I mean, it's going to cost, it'll cost some lives. Yeah, it'll cost you a bunch of money in taxes and inflation and loss of your income and loss of your retirement and loss of your everything. But, you just don't understand. Folks, I understand pretty well. They've explained it. You will have nothing and you'll like it. You'll be happier when they own everything and you own nothing. This is about stealing from everybody, folks, stealing from everybody. But they're not just happy with stealing from us in America and Canadian government from Canadians and Australians and so on and so forth. These fucking morons, folks, these globalist morons are continuing to push. They're tripling down and quadrupling down now with Putin. I didn't think they were this stupid. They are, right? Joe Biden stated in his State of the Union that he is going to block United States airspace to Russian flights. I guess that's going to include allies? Right? He's going to confiscate yachts and confiscate wealth from Russian oligarchs. And he's going to provide arms to Ukraine. Number one, Putin has said, for everyone who supplies arms to the Ukrainians, not the Uranians, the Ukrainians, there's going to be a consequence. There is. It is ratcheting up his efforts as well. It's not de-escalating, it's ratcheting them up. Now, so weapons, okay. You're going to take money from oligarchs, that is, Russian billionaires. These are the same billionaires, I think, that own, right, Russian corporations or large pieces of them. Like what? Rosneft, their oil company. I think it is state-owned, but I'm sure there's private ownership. And this wealth leaves Russia and goes to places like Cyprus, maybe the Caymans, maybe Switzerland. Well, Switzerland, of course, turned tail, at least away from its typical neutral standpoint, and said it's anti-Russian. So let's see, Russia has more gold than ever, and they're going to continue to accumulate it. Don't be surprised if they don't demand gold in payment for their oil. It's not called black gold for no reason. They're going to confiscate yachts? Really, folks? Russia is not the United States. And you can't do civil asset forfeiture against people who have nothing to do with Putin's decision making. But that's the mentality of these people. Steal property, steal, 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 confiscate, lock down, punish, punish, punish. If you think they don't have that in mind for us, you're not paying very close attention. That is precisely what they will do to us. Punish, punish, punish. Steal, steal, steal. Lie, lie, and lie some more. That's what we have coming, folks. That's what we have coming. And as one last reminder, and an important reminder at that, Nancy Pelosi stood up and cheered when Biden talked about our soldiers and Marines breathing in toxic smoke from burn pits. What the hell was that all about? Was someone holding up little cue cards, little cue cards that say cheer or clap or frown? Unbelievable, folks. They're telling us who they are, that they like this stuff. There's messages in the SOTU that go out to the whole world. The State of the Union is a message board to the world. What they like and don't like, what they're going to try and do. Take them at their word, folks. Take them at their word. If Biden really cared about the Ukrainian people, he would call them Ukrainians, not Uranians. If he cared about our military, he would have deep and sorrowful regrets. If he cared about our allies, he should apologize, but he doesn't. Not for the world to see, anyways. And if he was intelligent and making good decisions that benefit you and I, the American people, right, he would stop wasting our wealth, our lives, and peace, and he would respect freedom and liberty. But he doesn't. They claim that they're concerned about the democracy for Ukraine, while here at home, they steal our rights, demand lockdowns, put mandates out, regulate and restrict. And then they say they want democracy. Well, the politicians in Ukraine quote the New World Order, and they arm criminals and thugs with fully automatic weapons. And our government sends explosives and other ordnance, not just to the Taliban. Remember that, $85 billion with there, but they're sending explosives, missiles, rockets, guns to the Ukrainian government, and they're giving it to civilians. But here at home, you shouldn't have any guns. Unbelievable. Chance favors the prepared mind. How is yours? Semper Fi, folks. And Godspeed to you in getting prepared.